Hey YouTube, I wanted to do a video today about conditioned thinking, and this I think it goes a long way in the sort of realms of our mental well-being and how we project ourselves in society, and I think how a lot of what we do can be in a culture of being target focused a lot, socially and work-wise. I just wanted to kind of just share some thoughts. With regards to striving and not thriving, or thriving and not striving, trying not to, um, trying not trying to lower your limits as much as possible. What I'm trying to get across is just maybe some of my kind of background of what I've come from, and I just think that society needs to relax. Long and short of it, I think we have all these pressures that we set ourselves. Certainly, even when I was at school, we built up in a culture of go and work hard, get good exam results, so you can go and get a good job, and go to uni. And what social sort of questions and probing questions are for the parents? What uni is the son going to? I'm not going to name this school just so it's, but I think that we shouldn't put such high standards on ourselves. We should try and take it 1 week at a time, or 1 day at a time. And I think to some people, having enough money in the bank to pay bills and having some left over is fine. We'd all like to burn more, but we can only stretch our bodies so far and our time so far. It's so much it is of society says today, we're going to see us in 5 years. Well, I'd like to think I'd still be in this job, working way up the ladder. And how ambitious are you? How hungry are you? How motivated are you? Which is all. These are all really good things, but I think sometimes it just becomes almost a racing around, rubber sprinting to be first. And the danger is, I think we do become defensive or aggressive. We start to be ungrateful for what we do have and always want the more, the biggest thing, the next thing. Which it is good, but I think we have to try and find a balance of not beating ourselves up for places where we can't get to. Let's try and remember where we are. And some people undoubtedly will be worse off than us in various ways. So I'm just putting some thoughts out there. In my mind, over so many years or months, I've had medication for generalised anxiety and rumination, and in my head there's all these thoughts go around of just things we want to get done. We want to exercise well, we want to maintain our health, we want to do well in our jobs, we want to provide for family, and sometimes we set ourselves, even salary expectations, but your mind will only let you do so much, and try and go to the gym, try and keep yourself motivated. I think we need to just breathe a bit, take some breaths, mindfulness. Let's get some people around us that actually understand us. Let's get some people around us that aren't going to say, "Oh, well, you didn't get that," or they aren't going to condemn you or be speaking negatively of you. I think we need to be in society these days, especially around COVID, where we need to recognise. Excuse me, I've got dandruff here. We need to recognise the fact that people are in jobs and people will fight for jobs even more. I had an interview recently, and they didn't get back to me, and I think the shortlist for that job is a lot. Our body's always fighting, and it's good to get motivated. I think it's good for us to be always active and productive, because otherwise we would just be kind of sitting back, getting complacent. But I think we have to try and enjoy the time off that we have. I think we need to spend time with friends. We need to try and find a balance of how we use our money. I have this thing about saving money and spending money. I'm always kind of keeping an eye on things. Let's not put ourselves in corners where we set ourselves up to fail, or we set ourselves up really high targets that are maybe too ambitious. Let's try and get away from that time pressured mindset. Sometimes I think we're too. Yeah, I think sometimes we're time conscious. Sometimes we do it in a month, or we do something in 3 years from now. I'm going to buy this car, and we sometimes that becomes a nag in our mind. So we sometimes release because of that. It sometimes costs us some enjoyment in other areas, and being sacrificial in some areas. We don't enjoy ourselves as much. I think we're signing up for an agreement for 36 months, and I think you have to. Can you do this job for 36 months? Can you maintain those payments? Can you see yourself in that job for 3 years? And that's a whole. What's that? I mean, I'm talking there in the context of credit and borrowing. But I think we have to kind of. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself here. Take it one day, take it one day as it comes, and try not to disappoint ourselves. Try and keep things as easy as manageable as we can. Keep them consistent, and that way, that's the easier option of boosting our confidence, is doing the basics well. I'm not saying don't dream big. I'm not saying I might still do some accountancy stuff, or I might still do some. I might even go to university. Who knows in the coming years, folks? I'm just saying there are things that you can build in maturity and go back to later. In terms of my character, I've built up more confidence post school, and that's when you start to really see the real world and see if people don't like you and rub up against certain folks, and you start to develop your own character. So I'm thinking of tagging this in the context of well-being, success goals, or something in the lines of almost a sort of offshoot of negative thinking with mental health, but it can be used in other contexts as well. I think it's just something that's close to my heart, that I think that conditioned thinking can be helpful sometimes, but not in others. I think sometimes it has a lot to answer for, and I think, based on my experience of constantly trying to push yourself higher and higher and higher, and they call it perfectionism. This can lead to mental health breakdowns and suicide, because you have to take yourself up sometimes too much to fail. If when you're an adult, once you do your independent learning, you might not pass the exam in the time frame, but you can resit it again. Alright, you're spending money on it, but that one adult or lecturer isn't going to come out to say why you didn't do that. He's just going to go, you haven't managed it. You haven't got the managing the time frame. And it's understanding and knowing in your own self and evaluation of your own observations of work. I've managed my time, and I have come away with something. Sometimes through my own experiences of applying for jobs years ago, you haven't failed because you've learned something new. You've probably learned a new part of town, or you've learned a new bus route, or you've learned a new strand of interview, or a new interview technique, or another person, or another industry of work. Nobody. I don't believe anybody can fail. I believe that, or failures do make the best mistakes. There's some of the things that you don't know or you don't get right, that's where you learn from, and I don't see that as negative. I really don't. I'm good at some things and not in others. Just do our best, folks, but don't beat ourselves up about it. I mean, we have to try and get things done, and sometimes things need to get done pressing on us, but let's not always try. I mean, I'm always trying to find this right balance of satisfaction, and I'm always trying to get up and go and keep myself going hard. And I think language is a big thing, what you're doing positively. I think it's not so much positively, it's proactively, or it's being, I would say, intentional. The things are positive that we do, but sometimes we can't manage to do them. Doesn't necessarily be negative about it. It just means we haven't managed it. We need to get ourselves some breathing space, get some headspace in. I'm a great believer in forums. I've just came across this forum called Quora, or Quora, if I'm saying it right. And it's got the red letter in front of it. I was talking about. Well, I'm reading a forum just now about offensive versus defensive tones, and it's a similar kind of thing of perception and emotions and being passionate, standing up for yourself, not falling into the background, not getting timid, not getting trampled on. And that could be another forum, but let's just let's have a smile, folks. Let's have a smile. Let's see, we're still, every day's a new day. Every day we've got breath in our lungs. I thank God that I had breath in my lungs. One of my online pastors on Destiny says, Linda Oden, she says, I thank God we've got breath in our lungs. That is something to be thankful for. We're thankful that as Christians that we have a saviour. We're thankful that we can see Jesus and God in heaven. We're thankful to see loved ones again who have passed on, who go to heaven. I'm thankful that we have a roof over our head. Some people do that's luxury. I'm thankful I'm not a slave to addiction. Just see where I'm going with this, folks. It's just let's make the most of the tools we've got. Let's try and make, sometimes there's beauty in brokenness, and sometimes that's where we find the best of ourselves, when we're authentic and just honest and just being open. But let's not push us. What I'm saying is crucially here, folks. Let's not push ourselves in a corner where we're stuck in unachievable things. Let's try and make sensible decisions as best we can. And just breathe. Just breathe. Reach out to people. Let's not do anything impulsive. So that's hopefully that's helpful to some of you out there. Hopefully I'm gonna try and find a helpful tag, or maybe a video response to something else I've watched lately. But you get one shot in this life. You get one shot on the earth, and it's our duty of care just to make sure we preserve our vessels. And some people say life's too short. It's too short, yeah. So yeah, it's too short to be getting upset, but sometimes we go through real things and we need help. And I don't think there should be any stigma for counselling or well-being or medication. That's what GP's there for. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, folks. I'm going to round this off a little bit now, for the moment. But I hope that helps you. Some of you, hopefully some of you guys out there have got something from that. I'm hoping, just based on my experience, you have to be kind of content. I mean, I am content with it. I'm happy. But you just have to try and make the most of every day you have, and be good to yourself. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe, folks. There you go.